Lieutenant Ryan Hale looked out from the cockpit of the scout ship Aurora. The stars stretched in all directions, cold and distant, and the planet below glimmered like a green jewel. Humanity had only begun to explore this sector of the galaxy, and Ryan was both excited and nervous. He was a rookie, fresh from training, but he had volunteered for this mission. Curiosity and courage were his strongest allies. "Lieutenant," said Captain Moreno, his voice calm but firm over the comm, "scan the planet's surface. Look for signs of life and any unusual readings. Be careful." "Yes, sir," Ryan replied, gripping the controls. He activated the sensors, and the screen lit up with topography, vegetation, and something odd, a series of unusual energy pulses near a mountain range. "Captain, I'm detecting energy signatures." "Not natural," Ryan said, pointing at the display. "It's like a shield, or some kind of technology." Moreno frowned. "Do not approach too close. We don't know what's out there." But Ryan was already descending. The thrill of discovery was too strong. The planet was strange: forests with enormous trees, rivers glowing faintly in green, and mountains that pierced clouds like jagged teeth. The energy pulses grew stronger as Ryan approached, and he could see something moving among the cliffs. Suddenly, a flash of light appeared. Ryan's ship shuddered as a figure materialized on the ground below. He blinked. The being was unlike anything he had ever seen. She was tall, easily over 7 feet, with skin that shimmered faintly like polished metal. Her eyes glowed a soft amber, and her armor, sleek and dark, fit her perfectly. Strange markings ran across her arms and neck, pulsing gently. She did not move like any human. Every step seemed deliberate, controlled, and powerful. Ryan's breath caught. "What? What is that?" he whispered. "Lieutenant!" Moreno's voice snapped through the comm. "Do not engage! Retreat immediately!" But before Ryan could respond, the alien woman raised her hand, and a beam of light shot toward the Aurora. Shields flared, absorbing the impact, but the ship trembled violently. Ryan struggled to stabilize it. Then, as if the world shifted, he was no longer in the ship. The air around him burned with strange energy. Ryan felt weightless, and the next instant, he was on the ground, face to face with the alien. She looked down at him with her amber eyes, calm but commanding. "You will come with me," she said in a voice that resonated, echoing in his mind. It was not spoken aloud, yet he heard it clearly. I can't," Ryan stammered, glancing back toward the ship. "My crew, they cannot follow," she interrupted. "Your species is different. You will be mine." Ryan froze. "Mine? What do you mean?" Her expression remained unreadable. She extended a hand. Before he could react, a soft wave of energy enveloped him. He felt himself being lifted, pulled, and in a blink, they vanished from the planet's surface. Back on the Aurora, the crew watched the readings spike. The ship had been there one moment and gone the next. Captain Moreno clenched his fists. "Impossible," he muttered. "There's no way a human could vanish like that." Ryan's stomach dropped as he looked around. He was in a new environment. The sky above was a deep violet, streaked with green clouds that twisted and shimmered. The ground beneath him was hard and metallic, though strange plants grew in neat clusters. Towers of alien architecture rose in the distance, sharp and geometric, glowing faintly. Where am I?" he whispered. "You are with me," she replied simply. Her amber eyes studied him carefully, as if measuring every reaction. "I am Circa. You are special." Ryan took a cautious step back. "Special? I'm just human. I'm a scout." Circa's gaze did not waver. "Your kind is rare. Your courage, your curiosity. These are worth attention. You will be a trophy among my people." Ryan blinked, confused. "A trophy? Like a prize?" "Yes," she said, her tone neutral, almost clinical. But you will learn. You will survive. That is the purpose. Ryan swallowed hard. He did not understand. I'm not a prize. I just want to go home. Circa tilted her head slightly, studying him. Home is where you have not yet proven yourself. You will understand soon. He looked around again, noting the strange creatures scuttling in the shadows, predators with glowing eyes and metallic carapaces. Every instinct screamed danger, and yet the alien woman walked among them as if they posed no threat. Stay. Close, she commanded. Ryan hesitated, but a small shock from her touch made him stumble forward. Do not resist. It is safer this way. They walked through the alien landscape, and Ryan realized the ground itself seemed alive. Plants shifted slightly as they passed, and strange lights danced in the distance. The air smelled metallic and sweet, unlike anything he had experienced. Why me? He asked quietly. Why take me? Circa did not answer immediately. She paused at a cliff overlooking a vast valley. Your people have potential that is unexpected. You adapt, you endure. Others do not. That is why you are mine. Ryan frowned. Mine? But I don't belong here. You will learn, she said, her eyes narrowing slightly. And perhaps you will surprise even yourself. Ryan took a deep breath. Fear clawed at his chest, but beneath it, a spark of determination lit up. He had survived dangerous missions before. He had faced predators, storms, and hostile aliens. He could survive this. He had to. As Circa led him toward her city, Ryan stole a glance back toward the stars. The Aurora was gone from sight, and his crew could not follow. He felt isolated, trapped. And yet a strange thrill ran through him. This was unknown territory. This was the edge of human endurance. And maybe, just maybe, it was a chance to show what humans were truly capable of. He clenched his fists and whispered to himself, I will survive. I will show them who I am. And somewhere deep in the alien city, Circa watched, her eyes unreadable. She did not yet understand the human fully, but she knew one thing. He was different. And in a world built for warriors, Ryan Hale, the rookie human, might be the most dangerous one of all. Ryan Hale struggled to keep his balance as Circa led him through the alien city. The ground beneath his boots was smooth and metallic, yet it seemed to pulse faintly with energy. Strange lights floated in the air, illuminating towers that twisted skyward in impossible shapes. The air was thick, tinged with something sharp and metallic, and every breath reminded him that he was far from home. He kept his eyes on Circa. She moved with ease, her armor gleaming faintly in the alien glow. Every step she took commanded attention. Ryan could feel it. Every alien nearby gave her a wide berth. They respected her power and even feared it. Where are we going? Ryan asked cautiously, keeping his voice low. To my dwelling, she replied. You will rest. You will learn. You will survive. Ryan swallowed. I don't understand why you took me. I'm not a fighter like you. I'm just human. Circa's amber eyes studied him. Humans are unpredictable. That is why you are interesting. That is why you are mine. Ryan frowned. He didn't know if he should feel honored or terrified. Mine? Like a pet? No, she said sharply. A trophy, a test. You will see soon. They reached a massive gate carved from black stone and glowing with faint lines of energy. Circa touched the surface, and the gates opened silently. Ryan stepped inside, feeling an odd mixture of awe and fear. The chamber beyond was enormous, a vast hall with ceilings that seemed to disappear into shadow. Strange banners hung from the walls, and alien warriors stood in silence along the sides, watching him carefully. Ryan tried to keep calm. He remembered his training. Always observe, always adapt. Sirka motioned for him to sit. He hesitated, but obeyed. The chair was hard, unlike anything on human ships, yet strangely comfortable. Sirka did not sit. She remained standing, her posture rigid, her eyes never leaving him. "You will meet others soon," she said. "Trophies like you exist, but not many survive for long. You will learn the rules quickly, or you will perish." Ryan's heart pounded. "Others? You mean other humans?" Sirka shook her head. "Other species, captured by my people. They serve as examples. Some are strong, but most fail." Ryan's stomach turned. He had never imagined he would be considered a trophy, or that others like him had failed before. But something inside him refused to panic. He had survived dangerous missions before. He could survive this, too. Hours passed. Sirka did not speak much, only observing, testing. Occasionally she touched him lightly with her hand, and Ryan felt a strange energy flowing through him, warming, steady, yet somehow commanding. He realized quickly that resisting her power was useless. The only way forward was to comply and learn. The next day, she led him outside the city. The alien landscape was unlike anything Ryan had seen before. Mountains glowed with strange light. Rivers shimmered with colors he couldn't name, and enormous creatures moved gracefully in the distance. Sirka walked among them as if nothing could harm her. Ryan tried to follow, but he stumbled several times. "Be careful," she said, her voice calm but firm. "This world is dangerous, but you will adapt if you are clever." Ryan noticed something remarkable. The creatures around them did not attack. They paused, watched, and then moved on. Sirka's presence commanded respect, even from the predators. Yet when Ryan moved near them, they tensed slightly, unsure of him. "You are not yet like us," she said. "You are human. That is different." Ryan nodded. "I'm trying. I promise I'll survive. Just tell me what I need to do." Sirka's eyes softened, just a fraction. "Observe, learn, endure. That is enough for now." Over the next few days, Ryan was introduced to the routines of Sirka's people. He saw other trophies, creatures from distant worlds who had been captured and tested. Some were strong, some clever, but all were under Sirka's control. Ryan realized that surviving here would require not only strength, but intelligence, creativity, and courage. Things humans had in abundance, even if aliens underestimated them. Ryan's first challenge came unexpectedly. Sirka led him to a canyon filled with strange rock formations. "Cross it," she commanded. "You must show your ability to survive." The canyon was treacherous. Sharp rocks jutted from the ground and glowing predators lurked in the shadows. Ryan took a deep breath. He could either panic or use his mind. He remembered a training exercise from Earth. Always use your environment. Slowly, carefully, he moved across, balancing on ledges and using fallen rocks to block attacks from the predators. Sirka watched silently. When he reached the other side, she nodded slightly. "Interesting," she said. "You adapt. Most would have died." Ryan felt a surge of pride. For the first time since being captured, he felt like he belonged. Not fully, but enough to prove himself. As they returned to the city, he asked, "Why me? Why not another human or another species?" Sirka's eyes glimmered. "Because you are different. You endure. You think. You survive. That is rare. That is worth attention." Ryan didn't fully understand, but he nodded. He realized that being a trophy wasn't just about being captured. It was a test, an experiment to see how far a human could go in a world built for powerful aliens. And if he survived, maybe he could show the universe something humans had always known. They were clever, courageous, and capable of facing impossible odds. As the alien sun set, casting the city in hues of violet and green, Ryan looked up. Fear still lingered, but determination burned brighter. He had survived his first day. He had learned that Circa was not just a captor, she was a judge. And he was ready to prove that humans were more than what the galaxy expected. Somewhere in the distance, Circa watched silently, her thoughts unreadable. But she knew one thing. This human was different. And in a world where power ruled, being different could be the most dangerous strength of all. The morning light on Circa's world was strange and sharp, casting green and violet shadows across the alien city. Ryan Hale woke to the hum of the city's energy. He was no longer just a prisoner. He had survived the first day, and now Circa intended to test him further. "Today you will face a trial," Circa said, her amber eyes fixed on him. She stood tall and commanding, her armor reflecting the strange light. "It is designed to measure skill, courage, and adaptability." Ryan swallowed. "A trial? Like a test?" "Yes. If you pass, you may live among my people. Fail, and—" Her gaze was steady, almost dispassionate. "You will learn the consequences." Ryan nodded. He had faced dangerous missions on Earth, extreme weather, and hostile creatures. He would not fail, not now. The trial began at the edge of the city, near a canyon that glowed faintly with alien energy. Circa led him to a platform that hovered over the canyon, its surface metallic and smooth. "Your objective is simple," she said. "Cross the canyon and retrieve the crystal at the far side. But the canyon is alive. Many have tried and failed." Ryan's stomach tightened. The canyon below was filled with jagged rocks and glowing. Predators lurked among the shadows. The walls pulsed slightly, as if the canyon itself were aware of every step. "Observe. Think. Adapt," Circa instructed. "That is all." Ryan took a deep breath. He stepped forward carefully, testing the platform beneath his feet. He noticed that some panels hummed, others vibrated slightly, and some emitted small pulses of energy. It was a puzzle as much as a physical challenge. He began moving, hopping from panel to panel, using his instincts and sharp observation. A glowing predator lunged from a shadow, but Ryan quickly used a loose panel as a shield. The creature recoiled, unsure of him. He realized that this canyon was not just a test of strength. It was a test of intelligence, creativity, and courage. As he advanced, Ryan discovered that the canyon responded to movement. Panels shifted when he stepped carefully, creating paths that others had failed to find. He remembered an old Earth survival lesson. Use your environment, not just your strength. Slowly, deliberately, he progressed. Halfway across, a glowing predator leapt toward him. Ryan barely dodged, then grabbed a small piece of metal from the canyon floor. He threw it at the creature. It reacted exactly as he expected, leaping aside and giving him a clear path forward. His heart pounded, but he pressed on, using simple tools and quick thinking. Meanwhile, Circa watched silently from the platform. Other alien warriors observed, too, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and disbelief. Humans were fragile compared to their species, yet this one moved with ingenuity, courage, and a strange confidence. Ryan reached a ledge where the crystal floated, suspended in mid-air by faint energy. He studied it carefully. Traps surrounded it. Energy pulses and tiny predator drones patrolled the area. Most alien warriors would rely on brute force. Ryan relied on observation. He waited, letting the drones pass, then leapt forward at the exact right moment, snatching the crystal. A pulse of energy shot toward him, but he rolled to the side, landing safely. He held the crystal high, feeling a surge of triumph. He had done it. He had survived the trial. Circa's amber eyes narrowed slightly, then softened. She approached him slowly. Impressive, she said. You did not rely on brute strength. You used your mind, your instincts, your humanity. Ryan exhaled, exhausted but proud. I survived. That's all I can do. Circa studied him for a long moment. Your people have potential that many do not understand. You are strong in ways we cannot predict. That is why you are interesting. Ryan glanced around at the canyon, realizing that every step he had taken had been life or death. But he had survived because he thought differently, because he adapted, because he refused to give up. And he began to understand something. This was not just a trial. Circa wanted to see the unique strength of humans. Over the next few hours, she led him through additional challenges. Each was designed to push him further, climbing vertical energy walls, navigating labyrinths of shifting platforms, and avoiding dangerous creatures. Ryan relied not on raw strength, but on observation, quick thinking, and human ingenuity. Every time he succeeded, Circa's expression shifted just slightly, a hint of admiration breaking through her otherwise unreadable face. Even the alien, warriors watching, began to whisper among themselves. This human, he was different. By the end of the day, Ryan was exhausted, bruised, and exhilarated. He had survived challenges that would have defeated most alien warriors. Circa led him back to the city, walking silently beside him. You have passed the trials for now, she said. But do not think survival alone is enough. There are tests ahead you cannot yet imagine. Strength, courage, ingenuity, all will be required. Ryan nodded, though he was too tired to speak. He realized that Circa had been testing more than his body. She had been testing his mind, his instincts, his humanity. And he had shown that humans could survive in ways even aliens did not expect. As night fell over the alien city, Ryan sat, quietly, holding the crystal he had retrieved. He thought about his crew, about Earth, about what it meant to be human in a universe filled with powerful advanced species. Fear lingered, but a spark of pride burned brighter. He was more than a trophy. He was a survivor. He was human, and that mattered. From the shadows, Circa watched him carefully. She did not yet understand the full extent of his abilities, but one truth was clear. This human was unlike any she had ever encountered, and in a world ruled by strength and tradition, being different could be the greatest power of all. Ryan closed his eyes for a moment, letting exhaustion wash over him. Tomorrow would bring more challenges, more dangers, and perhaps more tests of his limits. But he had learned something crucial today. Humans might be underestimated, but they were. Clever, adaptable, and courageous. That alone could turn the tide in ways no one expected. The days on Circa's world began to feel both strange and familiar to Ryan Hale. Every morning, he awoke to the violet-green skies, the hum of alien energy, and Circa's ever-watchful amber eyes. He had survived his first trial and the Canyon Challenge, proving to her that humans were more than fragile creatures. Yet he knew this was only the beginning. Circa did not speak much, but her presence was always near. Unlike the other alien warriors, she moved without pretense. Always observing, always measuring. Ryan realized that her attention was not just about ownership or control, it was about understanding. She was curious, not only about him, but about humans. One morning, she led him to the edge of the city, overlooking a vast valley. Below, enormous. Creatures moved in patterns Ryan could barely comprehend. Today you will assist me, Circa said. Not as a trophy. You will participate. You will observe and act. Your species has ways that my people do not anticipate. I wish to see them in practice. Ryan's heart raced. This was the first time she had treated him as something more than a test subject. Participate? In what? He asked. In a hunt, she replied. A hunt of survival, not sport. Watch, follow, and act when necessary. Your ingenuity may be needed. Ryan followed her down the cliff carefully, every step measured. The valley was alive with danger. Massive predators stalked in the shadows, glowing with faint energy, and the ground seemed to shift subtly beneath their weight. He could feel the pulse of the planet, the rhythm of life that was both beautiful and deadly. Circa moved with absolute control. Every step she took commanded respect, not only from the predators but also from her own warriors. Ryan tried to mimic her movements, but his human instincts were different. Where she was calculated, he was instinctive. Yet he began to notice something remarkable. His instincts were not weaknesses. They were different tools, ones the aliens did not understand. The first predator attacked, a huge creature with glowing eyes and metallic claws. Circa moved swiftly, neutralizing it with a precision strike. Ryan froze for a moment, but then remembered his training. He found a fallen branch and used it to distract another predator, guiding it away from their path. Circa's amber eyes flicked to him, a brief flash of acknowledgement crossing her face. They continued through the valley, facing more dangers. Ryan relied not on strength, but on observation, quick thinking, and improvisation. He blocked traps, guided creatures away, and sometimes even predicted movements before they happened. Every time he acted successfully, Circa watched with growing interest. By midday, they had reached a plateau where the hunt ended. Ryan was exhausted, but exhilarated. Circa stood beside him silently, surveying the valley. For the first time, she spoke without command. "You see, human," she said, "your species has potential that many do not recognize. You are different. You endure not because you are stronger, but because you think. You adapt. You survive in ways my people cannot anticipate." Ryan smiled faintly, though fatigue weighed him down. "I've always known humans have something different. Maybe courage, maybe curiosity. I just hope it's enough to survive here." Circa's gaze softened slightly. "It is enough. For now. But survival is only part of the test. Understanding, cooperation, and innovation are also required. You will need to learn quickly." Ryan nodded, feeling a sense of pride. For the first time, he was not just a trophy. He was participating, contributing, surviving on his own terms. He was learning about this world, about its dangers, and about his own abilities. Over the next few days, Circa allowed him more freedom. He accompanied her on missions across the alien terrain, learning about the creatures, the resources, and the technology her people used. Ryan noticed subtle patterns, weak points in defenses, ways to navigate terrain, and strategies that humans could exploit in ways aliens never imagined. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the city, Circa and Ryan sat on a cliff edge, overlooking the valley. The air was filled with soft, glowing motes of light, drifting lazily in the wind. "You are clever," Circa said quietly, almost contemplatively. "Most species would fail, even with guidance. But you endure and learn. You adapt." Ryan looked at her, curious. "Why do you help me? Aren't I just a trophy to your people?" Circa paused. "You are a trophy, but not only that. You are an example. Your kind is unpredictable. That is valuable. You survive where others fail, and that challenges us. It forces my people to reconsider what strength truly means." Ryan nodded slowly, understanding dawning. He had thought, this entire time that he was a prisoner, that Circa's attention was merely a test of dominance, but it was more than that. He was proving something essential about humanity, that humans could endure, adapt, and overcome challenges that no other species could. In the days that followed, Ryan's actions began to influence the alien warriors around him. They whispered among themselves, amazed by his ingenuity, and some began to emulate his tactics, Even minor victories, small acts of cleverness, made them question the limits they had assumed about humans. Circa observed all of it silently. She did not yet fully understand him, but she sensed that this human could change perceptions. Not through brute force, but through intelligence, courage, and the simple will to survive. Ryan realized something profound. Survival here was no longer just about himself. It was about showing what humans were capable of, even to a species that thought themselves superior. Every small victory, every clever move, every act of courage became a statement. As night fell and the alien city glowed beneath the twin moons, Ryan felt a connection, not just with Circa, but with the planet itself. Danger remained everywhere, yet he was no longer just a terrified rookie. He was a survivor, a thinker, and perhaps something more. A proof that humanity could endure and even influence worlds far beyond Earth. Circa stood beside him silently, her amber eyes reflecting the moons above. She did not yet understand the full potential of this human, but one truth was clear. In a galaxy where power often ruled through strength alone, humans had something the aliens could not predict, and in that unpredictability lay true power. The sky above Circa's world was heavy with dark clouds, and the air carried a low, vibrating hum. Ryan Hale stood beside her on the cliff, scanning the horizon. Today, danger was different. It was not a test or a trial. A rival alien clan was approaching, their ships cutting through the clouds like jagged streaks of steel. "They are coming for you, and for me," Circa said, her amber eyes fixed on the horizon. "They will demand the return of their trophy. You." Ryan's heart raced. "Me? Why? I'm just human." "You are not just human," she said. "You are different. That is why they want you, and that is why they fear you." Ryan swallowed hard, feeling both fear and determination. He had survived Circa's trials, the alien city, and the treacherous valley. But this was different. This was not a controlled environment. This was real danger, and failure could mean death, not just for him, but for Circa and her people. Circa turned to him. "You will act as my ally, not just my trophy. I trust you to think differently, to use what your species is known for. You may find a way where none seems possible." Ryan nodded. He realized she meant exactly what he had suspected. Human ingenuity would be their greatest advantage. The enemy clan's ships descended into the valley, enormous and heavily armed. Alien warriors poured out, marching toward Circa's city, with weapons that glowed dangerously. Ryan and Circa positioned themselves on a cliff above, observing. "They expect me to fight like them," Circa said, her voice calm. "They do not understand that you think differently. That is your power." Ryan studied the terrain, the enemy positions, and the environment. He noticed small details, loose rocks on cliffs that could create landslides, narrow paths that could funnel troops, and plants that emitted flashes of light when disturbed. None of these had been used in war before. They were tools. A human could see possibilities that aliens did not. "Follow my lead," Ryan said, surprising even himself. He pointed toward the cliffs. "We can block their advance using the terrain. We can create confusion. They won't expect it." Circa raised an eyebrow. "Proceed. Show me what your species can do." Ryan acted quickly. Using rocks, branches, and his knowledge of physics, he triggered small landslides and diversion tactics. Alien troops were thrown into chaos, stumbling over one another, while Circa's warriors seized the advantage. Ryan directed movements, improvised traps, and found weak points in the enemy's formation. The rival clan did not understand what was happening. Their disciplined, powerful army was being outmaneuvered by a human using simple tools and clever thinking. Panic rippled through their ranks. Circa watched in fascination. Ryan was not strong like the warriors, but he was effective in ways her people had never imagined. Every move he made turned danger into opportunity. The alien clan faltered, unable to predict his next action. "Humans are unpredictable," she whispered, more to herself than to Ryan. "And that unpredictability is dangerous." Ryan led a final maneuver. Using loose energy panels from the cliffs and the glowing plants, he created a dazzling distraction. The enemy ships became disoriented, some crashing into cliffs, others retreating in confusion. Sirika's forces surged forward, overwhelming the remaining attackers. When the battle ended, silence fell over the valley. The enemy clan had retreated, defeated by strategies they could not have imagined. Ryan's chest heaved, exhaustion and adrenaline mixing. In equal measure, Sirika approached him, her amber eyes gleaming. "You did more than survive," she said. "You changed the outcome. You used what your species has that we do not fully understand. You are remarkable." Ryan shook his head, still catching his breath. "I just did what made sense. I observed, adapted, acted. That's all humans do. We find ways when others cannot." Sirika's expression softened slightly. "It is not all humans, Ryan. It is you. You see the world differently, think differently, and that is dangerous to those who rely on brute force alone. Today, you showed what humanity is capable of." Ryan realized something. He had not only survived as a trophy, but he had earned respect from Sirika and her people. His ingenuity, courage, and adaptability had turned the tide in a real battle. For the first time, he understood the full meaning of being human in the galaxy. The alien warriors gathered around, whispering among themselves. Many who had doubted him before now looked at him with awe. He was no longer just Sirika's trophy. He was a valuable ally, a strategist, and a symbol of human potential. Sirika looked at him with a rare hint of approval. "You are more than I expected. You survive where others fail. You inspire where others fear. This is the human advantage." Ryan smiled faintly, feeling a mixture of pride and humility. He had faced impossible challenges, survived trials designed to test strength, and now had proven that intelligence, courage, and adaptability could change the course of a battle. For the first time, he felt like he belonged, not because he had been claimed as a trophy, but because he had earned a place through his actions. Humans were underestimated, but he had shown that even one human could turn the tide in a world of powerful aliens. Sirika placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. "You will continue to face challenges," she said. "But know this. You have shown that humans are not weak. You are extraordinary." Ryan nodded, looking out over the valley. The battle was over, but he knew this was only the beginning. His journey with Sirika was far from over. There would be more dangers, more tests, and more opportunities to prove that humans could thrive where others might fail, and somewhere deep in the alien city the whispers spread. Humans were no longer simply a primitive species. They were unpredictable, clever, and capable of changing the galaxy itself. Ryan Hale, once a rookie scout, now stood as a living proof of humanity's strength. Not strength of body, but strength of mind, courage, and heart. And in the shadow of Sirika's amber eyes, he realized something. Humans were not just survivors. They were a force to be reckoned with. The alien arena had fallen silent. Smoke drifted across the broken floor. The crowd of warriors, nobles, and curious beings all stared at the same thing. A human standing tall beside the alien woman who once called him a trophy. Jarek's armor was dented and scorched. His chest rose and fell with heavy breaths, but his eyes were sharp, alive with fire. Beside him, Commander Vera stood proud, her crimson cloak torn but still flowing behind her. Together they looked unstoppable. No one spoke for a long moment. Then the alien warlord, a massive beast with 4 arms and dark gray skin, stepped forward. His voice was a growl. "You were supposed to break, human. You were supposed to bow. Yet here you are, defying the council." Jarek lifted his chin. "Humans don't bow to tyrants." The words carried far across the chamber. Many in the crowd shifted uneasily. For ages, no one had spoken back to the council like that. It was like hearing thunder in a place where skies were always quiet. Vera placed her spear against the floor. "You call him weak, you call him a prize, but today you saw what strength really means, and it did not come from your armies. It came from him." The warlord's eyes narrowed. "You speak as if this human is more than just flesh." "He is," Vera said firmly, "and he is no longer my trophy. He is my ally." The statement sent ripples through the arena. Some of the warriors gasped. Others whispered to each other. A few even looked at Jarek with new respect, as if they were realizing they had misjudged the small creature from Earth. Jarek's mind raced. This was more than a fight. It was a turning point. If they could stand strong here, then perhaps the council's grip over other species would weaken. But if they faltered, all would be lost. The warlord roared. "Then let us see if your ally can survive my blade." He leapt forward, swinging a weapon larger than Jarek's whole body. The impact shook the ground. Jarek rolled aside just in time. His muscles burned, but his mind stayed focused. Every instinct screamed at him to run, but he didn't. He grabbed a fallen soldier's short blade and charged. The warlord struck again, but Jarek slipped under the massive swing and cut across one of the beast's legs. The crowd roared at the sight of human steel drawing alien blood. Vera joined the fight, her spear flashing like lightning. Together they fought not as master and trophy, but as equals. Jarek knew he couldn't match the warlord's raw strength, but he had speed and he had stubbornness. "Left side!" Jarek shouted. Vera moved without question, blocking a strike that could have crushed them both. Then she countered, stabbing the warlord's chest. Jarek leapt high, slashing across. The alien's face. The beast staggered back. For the first time, fear flickered in its eyes. The crowd fell into silence again. It was unthinkable. A human and an alien woman fighting together, wounding a warlord who had never lost. The warlord bellowed, one last desperate charge. But Jarek did not retreat. He stood his ground, gripping the short blade in both hands. When the beast swung, Jarek twisted aside and drove the blade deep into its neck. The warlord stumbled, choking. His weapon fell. He crashed to the floor with a final thundering sound. The chamber shook with gasps. The impossible had happened. Jarek stood over the fallen body, blood on his blade, fire in his eyes. Vera placed a hand on his shoulder. "He is no trophy," she declared. "He is proof that freedom cannot be crushed." The silence broke into a wave of noise. Some aliens cheered. Others shouted in anger. But one thing was clear. The legend of the human trophy had changed forever. Jarek looked at the sea of faces. "You call humans weak," he said loudly. "But weakness is not in our blood. We survive, we fight, we endure. If you treat us as prey, you will learn what it means to stand against predators." The crowd erupted again, but this time the fear in their eyes was mixed with respect. The council guards moved uneasily, but none dared to step forward. Killing the warlord had shaken their power. If a single human could do this, what would happen if more arrived? Vera leaned close to Jarek and whispered, "You've changed everything. They will never forget this day." Jarek's voice was quiet but firm. "Good. Let them remember." As they walked out of the arena together, the whispers grew louder. The story was already spreading. The human who was once a prize had defeated a warlord. Some would call him dangerous. Others would call him hope. For Jarek, it didn't matter what title they gave him. He wasn't a trophy. He wasn't a pet. He was a man, and he had earned his place among the stars. And in that moment, He knew this was only the beginning.